Welcome everyone. My name is Sean, and today we got to talk about the biggest crime that you can commit in a left-wing city in the United States of America, and of course, that crime is telling the truth, being honest, putting it in the form of a song, because in this particular story, an Asian business owner actually released a diss track against San Francisco Mayor London Breed, and although the local news is covering up what the backlash is actually about, he ended up getting threatened by the head of the NAACP, according to him, and forced to apologize based on those threats. But the thing is, I looked over his whole entire song, and all he did was tell the truth. Now we're going to get into it. I'm going to explain it. I'm going to slice it up, serve it to you on a silver platter. But before I do, thank you to everybody who signed up over at actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
And thank you to the podcast listeners, Spotify, Apple, and Google's podcasting platform.
San Francisco rapper and business owner is apologizing tonight after making a video calling out the mayor for the city's crime problems.
So right off the bat, this news report starts off in a pretty odd place. They talk about Andy Yang, aka the rapper Chino Yang, apologizing for putting out a diss track against San Francisco Mayor London Breed, but it also adds that Andy Yang's business, his Chinese food restaurant, had actually been broken into 7 times, over half a dozen.
So Andy Yang, aka Chino Yang, owns Kung Food near Alamo Square. It's been broken into more than half a dozen times since 2020. But as Kelsey Thord reports, the way he chose to vent ignited a political firestorm.
Now, call me crazy, call me a conspiracy theorist, call me a whack job, nut job, a crazy pants person, whatever, it doesn't matter. But when I saw these combinations of words being put together in this local news segment, something didn't make sense. Why would a business owner who was frustrated with the government that is supposed to be serving him, that is obviously doing a terrible job, apologize for calling that out and apologize to the mayor, again, somebody who is supposed to be a public servant, and this is due in large part to the backlash. Now, throughout this segment, there are clips and little bits and little tidbits of the song that are going to be played by the local news agency.
Make sure to leave nothing in your car.
You saw in the beginning where he says, take everything out of your car if you're coming to San Francisco. This is obviously rooted in fact because San Francisco is the car breaking capital of the entire nation. We've seen video after video of this happening. We've seen this happen while the police are stationed nearby, and this is so obvious that when my cousin visited San Francisco and he was going to forego the rental car insurance, they told him, you can do that, but trust us, your window will be smashed, and guess what? It actually happened while he was there. So everybody has horror stories. It's gotten to the point where the San Francisco airport has a method to let people fly without their ID because their stuff gets stolen so frequently. And yet the story is him apologizing, him saying sorry. So why could that be?
San Francisco rapper Chino Yang has found himself in the hot seat of San Francisco politics. A few weeks ago, Yang uploaded a new song called San Francisco Our Home, in which he critiques the city's policies on crime, specifically calling out Mayor Breed.
Atlanta Breed, you ain't nothing but a clown. When we really needed you, you would never be around.
The video has since racked up tens of thousands of views and hundreds of comments, many supporting the rapper's lyrics.
So again, I will point out that this guy puts out a rap diss track, he uploads it, it only gets tens of thousands of views at the time of this news report and at the time of the controversy, but as stated repeatedly from the local news, there was significant backlash. But the thing is, who's issuing backlash based on this? Residents of San Francisco are sick of the crime. I think one of the greatest examples of the fact that San Francisco's government and California's government doesn't care about their citizens is that they only ended up cleaning up the city when Xi Jinping came to visit, as we talked about in a previous video. But for the rest of the time, the homeless are allowed to do whatever they want. Theft goes virtually unchallenged. Open-air drug markets are the norm. There's a poop map of San Francisco, Francisco, and guess what? They're pooping out all over the streets absolutely everywhere, and their government 100% doesn't work. Remember the story when they tried to build one public toilet in the city of San Francisco, and with the public comments and the environmental impact studies and all of that, the price of that one single stall toilet ballooned to $2 million. So then a company said they were going to build it for free for the city, and that ended up costing $700,000. It seems to me that when your government is this dysfunctional, when this is the norm, that you should count yourself lucky, count your blessings that you only got an awkward rap song aimed in your direction criticizing you. But the thing is, it turns out rap, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, completely belongs to the black community. And even though London Breed is not a rapper herself, she happens to be a strong, independent, powerful black woman. So somehow the song being in rap form makes it automatically racist, or at least that's what the news wants you to believe.
But the song has also hit a nerve for London Breed's supporters. On Thursday, NAACP San Francisco president, Reverend Amos Brown, hosted a more than hour-long press conference with fellow civil rights and faith leaders, calling out Yang for what he says was an inappropriate and unwarranted attack on the mayor.
Since unfortunately, this young man erroneously hijacked an art form that evolved from the black community and used it for divisive, devilish, destructive end.
So here we have the president of the NAACP of San Francisco, and he's outraged, so outraged that he actually had an hour-long press conference, an hour-long segment where he dragged out all these civil rights leaders, who, by the way, ignore crime in San Francisco, just to crap on this guy and to call him racist, because how dare he hijack an art form, which, by the way, the black community will say is to criticize people in power. It comes from the underground, and that's exactly what he was doing in order to divide the city, in order to be a racist, in order to do the racism and all of that. And this was just the beginning of the hate and pressure campaign that he waged against this business owner for daring to criticize a black politician for being completely derelict in her job. But it actually goes further than that, and we will get into that a little bit later.
Yang initially defended his song in a series of social media posts, but then posted this apology video, claiming he was being threatened by a powerful and influential supporter of Mayor Breed.
Someone who has the connection to presidents, senators, or, the top elites. I am simply a civilian. So for the sake of my family and my loved ones and my close friends, I'd like to openly and publicly make an apology regarding of my actions and what I said in the video. I had no idea this extremely powerful individual has so much emotional attachment to London Breed.
So right here in this Instagram post, you see him apologizing for his video. And in his apology, he says that the reason why he's apologizing is because a powerful figure in San Francisco politics who's well connected to London Breed and other people in the state of California's government and whatnot essentially threatened him, cowed him into silence, and forced him to backtrack. And he's just a random civilian with a family, and he doesn't want to go through the trouble of all of this. Now, what's interesting,
Brown called that a flat-out lie.
They cut back to the head of the San Francisco NAACP, who says that is an outright lie, threatened by a powerful official. What name so? How ridiculous and how absurd, which is quite interesting, because in the future, that official will be named, and he will say something a little bit different that is also incredibly questionable. And spoiler alert, he's the person who issued the threat. He's the person who intimidated this person into silence.
James Taylor, a professor of politics at the University of San Francisco, says the whole controversy seems to have grown into something much bigger, putting a spotlight on a deeper issue that persists.
This is part of a network of tensions that go back 2 or 3 years, probably to the Chesa Boudin recall as well. All of the recent politics of the city, I think, come into play. And this young man had no idea that when he made these expressions of rap or art or public criticism or criticism of a public figure, that it would get such a reaction. But he had no idea what he was stepping into. And I think what it shows the city is that there are tensions, and it's going to play out, I think, in the mayoral election going forward.
So they cut to this university professor right here, and he talks about how this Asian guy stepped in it, and there's all these tensions, and the implication is tensions between the Asian and the black community, and this is quite interesting because the local news segment, throughout the whole course of the segment, kind of obscured anything related to that was maybe in the song, and I assure you that it was in fact in the song, and when I explain to you that particular part, you'll understand what this outrage is all about. It's not just about him calling out random car break-ins and whatnot, it's about him calling out, and you can kind of see indications of it with the Stop Asian Hate shirt on him in parts of the song, black residents of the city of San Francisco getting away with attacking Asians.
And I'm 100% down with the Black Lives Matter, but what about our grandmother, what about our grandfather? They're getting tagged, they're getting robbed, they're getting killed, and the DA just dropping out a murder charge.
You see, when you watch the full video, what you'll find out is that the local news is obscuring the most important part, the part that is generating all the controversy, and this is a section of the song where he says he's down with Black Lives Matter, but then says, why do they keep attacking Asians, more or less, obviously, I'm paraphrasing right there, and then he shows video after video of black perpetrators attacking and sometimes killing Asian people, elderly Asians, randomly in the city of San Francisco, because this is what the whole Asian hate movement has been trying to obscure, and this is what people like the mayor of San Francisco are trying to obscure. We had this whole campaign about an uptick in attacks against Asian people. They were called racially motivated, although to be clear, a lot of them were just robberies based on the stereotype that Asians carry a lot of cash on them because they don't believe in banks or whatever. And by the way, there is actually some truth to the stereotype. No joke, near the end of last year, I had a small get-together at my apartment. I had a friend come over. He found a wallet on the floor, which he, by the way, returned to the owner of that wallet, and it belonged to an elderly Asian woman, and it had well over $1,000 in cash in that particular wallet. This is just a random person's wallet that was dropped on the floor, and because people think that a lot of Asians do this, because a certain segment of the Asian population that happens to skew elderly do this, they end up getting robbed disproportionately because of the idea that you will get greater rewards. Now, that's not to say that there isn't anti-Asian hatred among the black community. We have documented this going back decades. I always play that LA riots footage because I think it is quite instructive, where they talk about how they not only robbed all these businesses, but they burned them down just to destroy them, and then they cut to the black residents in LA and they criticize the Asians, saying that they essentially deserved it because they have a bad attitude and they don't have respect for the black man.
Why are we the victims? I mean, my friends are good Christians. I mean, we've been through so much, and to go through this, I mean, everything 22 years down the drain.
Many Koreans who yesterday were the shopkeepers of South Central Los Angeles today have lost the businesses they took years to create.
What can I say? I don't have any word to say. That's really a comeback, John.
George Huang woke this morning to find his mini mall burnt to the ground. A loss of $1.5 million and a lifetime of dreams and effort.
I don't mind that. Whatever they need to take it out. But why they burn out the property? That's my question.
41 Korean businesses in South Central have been torched, dozens looted. In this overwhelmingly black and Hispanic area, Koreans own many of the small businesses. They're insular, they employ their own, they keep to themselves. Blacks say that's the problem.
I'm not surprised that the Koreans got targeted because their prices are high, their attitude is wrong, and they just don't seem to have any respect for the black community.
Now, because Chino Yang specifically highlighted this, because he called it out, because he juxtaposed this to the Black Lives Matter movement, that's why he got the backlash. That's why he was threatened, according to him, by the head of the NAACP. And I'm going to play this news segment where he's actually named, and they talk about it, and the head of the NAACP guy responds, because I think it is quite instructive, and it tells you a lot about what actually went down without actually confirming it.
In San Francisco, a civil rights advocate is being accused of threatening a small business owner. Andy Chino Yang, a restaurant owner and rapper, claims Reverend Amos Brown, the president of the San Francisco NAACP, made threats against his business and his family. In a post on Instagram today, Yang, along with the organization Asian Justice Movement, claim Reverend Brown came to Yang's business demanding he apologize for a rap video that blames Mayor London Breed for a rise in crime in recent years.
So in this particular video, they actually do show the clips in question where they show the Asians being attacked. Now I blocked that out because I will get age restricted and less of you will be able to see it. But all of the sources of this video, the music video, both local news segments, will be linked in the description under where it says sources, so you can watch it for yourself, so you can seek the truth of what I'm saying and understand that yes, I am 100% correct. However, what I find incredibly interesting is the way that the head of the NAACP responded to the allegations that he was threatened. Now, by the way, he did show up to this guy's business. He did demand an apology from him. He did do an hour-long press conference where he attacked this person and implied that he was a racist and targeted him with a bunch of different so-called civil rights leaders from the area. He is close to London Breed. All of that happens to be true, but the way that he answered the allegation that he threatened him, I think is incredibly telling.
Yang and the group are now in turn demanding an apology from the Reverend. We spoke with Reverend Brown today, and he says that he denies all allegations being made and says Yang should have told him he was feeling threatened if that was the case.
So that's what I find incredibly interesting. Of course, he denies all the allegations. Me threaten you, me abuse my power in order to attack you, me try to intimidate you. No, absolutely not. But you should have told me at the time that you were feeling threatened. You should have expressed that to me at the time. I find that part right there incredibly interesting. I find that incredibly compelling, where this guy, powerful guy, did his hour-long press conference connected to politicians, shows up at this guy's business based on the fact that he expressed himself against a politician, a legitimate use of the First Amendment, demands an apology from him because he criticized the mayor, because according to the head of the NAACP, you're not allowed to do that if you're an Asian person, as long as the politician that you're criticizing is black, of course. And then, after all this comes out, even though he did show up to the business and all of this is confirmed, he adds a little bit of extra spice on top of it by saying, oh, well, you should have said you felt threatened at the time, which makes me think that the obvious implication of his visit was to threaten him. That's why he ultimately ended up apologizing. And the head of the NAACP is trying to save a little bit of face while kind of also sending a message that he did do that, but you were scared and you didn't step up to me at the time. But hey, those are just my thoughts. That's what I think about this whole controversy, but I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about an Asian rapper being threatened by the NAACP. Till next time.